Okay, it is 6 o'clock on Monday, December 20th. My name is Sam Birnbaum. I am a project manager at Settlement Housing Fund, which is part of Harlem River Preservation, and we're going to begin the town hall meeting for residents of Harlem River Houses and Harlem River 2. Before I get started, would the Spanish translation line please unmute and introduce yourself?
Hi, good evening. This message is going to be in Spanish, offering interpretation services. Buenas noches, señoras, señores, todos los que necesiten escuchar esta reunión en español, por favor, marque desde su teléfono el número 646-558-8656 y el código de acceso o número PIN 331-425-8640, signo numeral. Una vez más, el número a llamar para escuchar esta reunión con una interpretación simultánea en español es el 646-558-8656 con el código de acceso 331-425-8640, signo numeral. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, Benito. And the Chinese line, would you please unmute and introduce yourself?
Yes. 大家晚上好。大家如果需要翻译的话呢，请拨打电话646-558-8656，确认 ID 会议号码461-857-9342。重复一下电话646-558-8656，确认 ID 号码461-857-9342。谢谢。Thank you.
Thank you so much. So just a quick note, as always, on the format for the meeting. We dropped off a printed copy of this presentation to all of the households at Harlem River and Harlem River 2. If you're listening to this audio over your phone or on your cell phone, you can follow along using the printed copy that we dropped off at your apartment. We will publish a video of this town hall meeting, a recording, on our website, which is www.harlemriver.org, by the end of next week, for you to refer to and for folks that weren't able to join this meeting to watch. Everyone will be muted during the presentation, and then we will have a question and answer session at the end of the meeting. To ask a question during the Q&A, you can type your question in the webinar chat at any time. We will either type a response or answer the question out loud during the Q&A session. You can also raise your hand in Zoom. I will call on you during the Q&A and unmute your microphone so you can ask your question. If you'd like to ask your question out loud like this, if you're using a smartphone and you'd like to raise your hand, tap the screen of the Zoom meeting. A toolbar will appear. Tap Participants and then tap Raise Hand. If you are using a computer to join this meeting, move your mouse on the Zoom meeting screen to reveal the toolbar, click Participants and click Raise Hand. Or if you are calling into the meeting using a telephone, you can dial *9 to raise your hand. And again, questions from folks who have their hand raised will be answered at the end of the meeting during the Q&A session. So first, just going through our agenda. We'll first hear a message from NYCHA. Then we will walk through the timeline for, NYCHA will walk through the timeline for the Harlem River Pact conversion. We'll talk about the model unit at Harlem River, which will allow folks to see what their apartment actually will look like once the renovation is complete. We'll talk about preparing for what's called housing quality standards repairs and inspections. Then we'll talk a bit about lease signing. We'll give an update on training and job opportunities with the Harlem River Preservation team, and we'll finish up with a nice long Q&A to try to get as many questions answered as we can today. So now I'd like to pass it over to Simon from NYCHA to give folks a message on this slide and the next. Simon, if you'd like to unmute, please go ahead.
Thanks, Sam. Good evening, everybody. Good to be with you tonight. My name is Simon Kowitsky. I am a vice president in the real estate department here at NYCHA, and it looks like we have about 50 of your neighbors from Harlem River. So thank you again for joining us this evening. I know we've been on a long road together so far. Just as a quick reminder for anyone who may be coming into this process for the first time or could benefit from a little bit of a recap on what this is about. PACT is all about bringing comprehensive repairs and upgrades to your development. At the end of this process, you will also have a new property management team take over from NYCHA and enhanced social services available for you to benefit from. Ultimately, we are bringing in the expertise and the resources of private partners, but NYCHA retains ownership of your development and responsibility for all of you. So the quality of life improvements, the resources and other amenities that we're really excited to bring to you will not come at a cost of any of your rights or protections. NYCHA will continue to monitor the performance of our partner, ensure that they're doing the job that they need to do to take care of you and keep the property safe and maintained. NYCHA is going to continue to certify your income every year and tell them what rents they can charge you. Any vacant apartments must be occupied off of the NYCHA Section 8 waiting list. And again, we remain in the background in an oversight role. So you ultimately will remain a NYCHA resident, but just under a new model that allows us to bring all these really important improvements to you and ultimately, again, improve your quality of life. Here's how you can reach out to NYCHA at any point now or after the new property management team takes over from NYCHA. We have, for the benefit of those who are calling in on the phone, the number for the Harlem River Property Management Office. That's 212-368-2900. Any questions about PACT, anything whatsoever, you can always email us at PACT, P-A-C-T, at nycha.nyc.gov. You can call us on our PACT hotline at 212-306-4036. The Customer Contact Center, NYCHA's Customer Contact Center, is also always available to you in case it's ever needed. That's 718-707-7771. And then our website, on.nyc.gov/NYCHA-PACT. We're going to be doing, in the run-up to the transition to private management, another meeting that really goes over all the details and things that you need to know once that transition takes place, how you're going to be paying your rent going forward, how you're going to continue to certify your income with NYCHA, who you contact for repair requests or other issues. So a lot more information to come on that. I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands all the way up until that point of the management taking transition, NYCHA is still responsible for making any repairs or addressing any issues you may be experiencing in your home or in your community. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I also want to just take a quick moment to recognize that we are aware of the cooking gas outage at Harlem River 2. I know that it's extremely painful, especially at this time of year when we're all at home with our families. I am awaiting further updates from the management office as to when they would have a sense of the repairs being made and the gas being turned back on. I do know that it was shut down due to a leak in one of the valves. There are hot plates available. If anybody would like a hot plate, they can contact the NYCHA management office. Again, that's 212-368-2900. And again, I'm extremely sorry about the inconvenience at Harlem River 2. We will provide an update as soon as we have more information as to when the gas may be turned back on for cooking. Next slide, please. So in terms of the next steps, I wanted to give a quick update. We're going to be talking a little bit about some different aspects of the PACT project tonight. But in terms of timeline, I know that it had been communicated to the Harlem River community that this transition to management would take place by the end of this year in December, and that renovations would begin shortly thereafter. Due to a range of different factors, which I can talk about, we're now a little bit delayed, a little bit behind schedule, hopefully not too far behind schedule, but we don't expect this transition to occur until February of next year at the moment. And of course, we will keep everyone updated as we have a better sense of the process and the timing for when that would begin. Why has this delay happened? I think we all know that COVID has and is continuing to impact all of our lives in different ways. We had to pause work at the beginning of the pandemic to make sure we could implement a safety plan. So that set us back a little bit as well. We are also just need a little bit more time to finalize all of the rehabilitation plans that we are developing for your community. That includes all of the upgrades to your apartments and common areas, upgrading the infrastructure, the building systems, the electrical systems, elevator, heat and hot water systems, the security and landscape improvements. So as we continue to further refine those things, it's just come to our attention that we need a little bit more time to finalize all those plans, including among those, really importantly, our work to abate lead-based paint at your property. So, you know, the combination of those different things has unfortunately just led us to where we are. And we need a little bit more time to finalize those plans to make sure that we can do the job right and keep everybody safe. So thank you for bearing with us and your patience. Again, I know it's been a long road. We're finally approaching the point where we can actually begin this work and are looking forward to continuing to partner with you to bring these important positive changes to your community. I'll pass it back to the team now, and I'll remain on the line so I can help answer questions at the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simon. So I'd now like to talk about visiting the model unit at Harlem River. I'm actually in a second going to pass it over to a representative from the general contractor for this project, who will walk you through actual pictures of what this unit looks like. We recently completed the renovation work in this unit. It is a vacant unit at Harlem River. The work in this unit is the same as the work that will be completed in every apartment at Harlem River houses and Harlem River 2 as part of the conversion. We are planning to host multiple open houses at the unit so that all residents can actually see what their apartment will ultimately look like. We will be doing this in as organized a way as possible. Please look out for a notice in the coming weeks with the date and the time of the open house for your building. We are looking to make time for every person that would like to visit this unit to come by and take a look, so they can have a look at and see what their apartment will look like once the renovation work is complete. So the following pages show actual pictures of the renovated unit. And again, keep in mind, this is an apartment that is actually in Harlem River. It is a Harlem River apartment where we completed all of the work, or I would say 95% of the work. Because again, we would like to show residents what this work will look like in their units and allow you to come by and take a look. Again, we will be providing a notice in the near future, letting you know how you can come by and take a look. So with that, I will pass it over to Ellie Himmelstein from L&M Builders, the general contractor, to walk you through these slides.
Thanks, Sam, and good evening, everybody. Happy holidays. And now is as good a time as any to say thank you. Thank you to all the residents at Harlem River for all the feedback we've gotten over the last year, which has helped us and the development team and NYCHA come up with the best scope for the renovations here at Harlem River Housing. And also thank you for your patience, for allowing us into your apartments to do the HQS repairs, which Sam mentioned briefly, which is ongoing. We are very excited, our team, to be all the more closer to starting the work here. And having the model unit, which you're going to see a few photos of, and hopefully we'll be able to see in person shortly, is an exciting step towards that. Nothing beats, no matter how detailed your plans are, from the consultants and the team, which have spent a lot of time and energy developing on what we're supposed to do on this project. Nothing beats actually going to the job site and actually performing a model unit and seeing what challenges, if any, we will have, and also getting feedback from the development team, from NYCHA, from the design team, from your TA board. So we can move to the next slide. This is a photo of the kitchen that you're seeing in front of you. It's a little bit more of a close-up of the kitchen. Those are the new cabinets, the new flooring, quartz countertops, and undermount sink, new plumbing fixtures, including going back to the riser, which you don't see, which is under the sink within the cabinet, new stainless steel appliances, including the range, a range hood, and a refrigerator. Next slide, please. That's the side of that kitchen with additional counter space and cabinets. And next slide, please. And then we go into the unit itself. One thing which I think was which you could see on the first slide was the lighting. So there's new LED lighting throughout the apartment. It used to be in prior PACTA RAD conversions that we were focusing on the bathroom and the kitchen. And I'm really excited, and the entire team is excited that we're just doing so much more work in these apartments, from flooring throughout the unit, painting the entire unit, introducing new LED lighting, which you see overhead, not just in the hallway, the bathroom, and the kitchen, but in every room. I know a lot of us are spending more time at home. Floor lamps just do not provide adequate lighting. We heard that from day one from the residents, and that was something that the developer had us incorporate into the scope. You see the new base molding towards the floor, new hollow metal door, which still has to be painted, but new doors, new hardware on all the doors, new doors throughout the entire apartment. Next slide, please. And you see the hallway going into the bathroom. Next slide, please. And you can see the bathroom itself, new porcelain flooring. Again, completely new fixtures, removing the existing tub, replacing it with a new tub surround, new vanity, which is on stainless steel legs to keep it above the tile in case there's any water, which typically in a bathroom there is, right? New toilet. Next slide, please. Kind of a bird's eye view of the bathroom. You can see some of the additional accessories. Next slide. And you can see the medicine cabinet and just a peek of the LED light fixture above the vanity and medicine cabinet. This medicine cabinet is larger than, it's probably almost twice the size of what residents have right now. So all in all, an exciting finished package. And I think, do we have one additional slide, or is that, oh, one more, I think. So you can get a quick shot of the shower head, the new integrated sink, which is part of the vanity. Again, new fixtures. You can't see it in this photo, but we also have grab bars, which are in the bathtub. And I believe that is it. Oh, I was wrong.
Just a couple, this one and one other, Ellie.
Right. So just quickly, this is again, there basically is not a space within your apartment that we are not looking at and renovating. So all new flooring, even within the closets, new doors, new hardware, new shelving, new closet rod. You can see that nice 1x4 base molding, which replaces the typical rubber molding, base molding that you'll see on other projects. It's just a nice upgraded clean finish. And next slide. Again, another shot of the bedroom. The only caveat that I would throw in there, or qualifier rather, is that the riser that you see in the background, that will be, once we're ready to install your new heating and cooling system, we're going to cut out that riser, so it'll be completely out of the way. Maybe a little easier to put in furniture, hang photos, or whatever it might be, but that will no longer be in the apartment. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks so much, Ellie. If folks have questions about the finishes, please do feel free to ask either in the Q&A. You can type a question and we will either respond in writing or wait for the end. Or please raise your hand, or you don't have to raise it now. You can wait for the end of the chat, this meeting, and ask by raising your hand at the end, and we will be sure to try to get through as many people as possible. I think that Ellie will be staying on to answer questions about finishes during the Q&A section. So please do save your questions. So a quick overview of what is next. So it's currently December, as we know. Apartment repairs and inspections for housing quality standards are currently happening. I know many folks have already experienced this. This is typically a pretty quick repair appointment, but it is a requirement for the conversion. We do issue notices and make phone calls and door knocks to schedule a time with you that works. And we're always available to pick up the phone if your repair appointment needs to be, rescheduled, or you need some kind of accommodation. Please don't hesitate to call us. We're also continuing with lease signings. We just have a few more lease signings to do. A large majority of the development has signed new leases. So thank you so much for your flexibility with us as we've gone through that process. And then finally, this actually will be the following month. Model unit tours will likely begin in January. Again, we will send out a notice and post it in all buildings, letting folks know how to sign up for a slot to visit the model unit, so you can see what it looks like in person. Winter 2022, so this is January, early February. Apartment repairs and inspections will continue for housing quality standards. We will, of course, have another resident town hall, and that town hall, as Simon mentioned early in this presentation, will include all the information you need to know about the management transition. It will go through how to pay your rent, how to request maintenance, how to access all of the different services that we'll be bringing to the development with the management transition. That will be at the next town hall meeting. The exact date has not been announced yet, but it will be in later January. We will also continue lease signings. There will be hiring and training beginning for jobs with the Harlem River preservation team. We've actually already opened some opportunities, some job opportunities with our team. We'll talk a little bit more about it in the later slides in this presentation, but this is we're really excited to welcome residents to apply for jobs that are with the team, both construction jobs and permanent jobs. We'd really love to have residents working with us at this development. Spring, so we'll do another town hall, of course. Then we will also have the actual conversion. We're scheduled for the month of February, so we're looking forward to actually having the conversion. There will be the property management transition to CNC. Again, as Simon mentioned, NYCHA will retain ownership of both the land and the buildings, and CNC will serve as property manager under NYCHA's oversight. And of course, construction work and temporary moves will begin. We're not going to go through the topic of temporary moves again in this presentation. This is a topic we've discussed at the last two town halls, both of which were recorded and posted on our website, www.harlemriver.org. With that said, we will be going through that topic again at the next town hall, just to remind everyone of what is to come. We'll answer all questions that you all have. And then also please do look out in the next few weeks. We'll be dropping off at every apartment a printed document that outlines all of the different details and tells you what to expect with your temporary move. It includes a lot of great information. So that printed document will be dropped off in the next few weeks. And then the next town hall meeting, we will go back into the temporary move process in depth to go back through any outstanding questions and talk through any concerns. So now I'm going to pass it over to Priscilla Porter from CNC Management to talk through the next two slides. Priscilla, would you like to unmute your mic?
Good evening, everyone. So I'll be speaking on the HQS repairs and inspections. Thank you, everyone, for joining our team this evening. So preparing for HQS repairs and inspections. HQS repairs and inspections are continuing at Harlem River 1 and Harlem River 2. These repairs in your unit may include repainting walls, replacing damaged floors, and other items. HQS repairs are not the same as the renovation work that will begin in spring of 2022. A notification for your apartment repair will be posted on your door, and our team will contact you directly to schedule. HQS repairs are a requirement for all apartments. This work will be completed as quickly as possible and will be scheduled with your household directly. For COVID-19 safety, keeping residents safe during in-apartment work is our #1 priority. We will continue to wear face masks, gloves, booties, and identifying badges when we are in your home, as you can see in the photo. When possible, we will limit the number of staff in your apartment. Please look out for the notices that we will definitely leave on your door, and our team will continuously contact you via phone call as well. And if you have any questions and need to make certain arrangements regarding these HQS repair appointments, feel free to contact us via phone or come over to our office, the old library, to discuss this with our team in person, and we will make accommodations as necessary. Sam, next slide. As part of the PACT conversion, each household must sign a new lease. Most households at Harlem River 1 and Harlem River 2 have already signed a new lease. If you have not signed your lease, please contact us via the following. You can call us at 212-348-3248, extension 522, extension 5222, or you can email jmelendez@ccmanagers.com. Again, JMELENDEZ@ccmanagers.com, or you can visit us at our office, the old library at 210 West 153rd Street, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 p.m. You don't need an appointment. Feel free to just drop by if you're choosing to visit our office. Please bring a valid photo ID, such as a driver's license, a non-driver's license, permit, or any New York City photo ID or a passport. If you feel that you need a home visit and need an evening, weekend lease signing appointment, this is also available upon request. Feel free to contact us so that we can make those accommodations as well. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Priscilla. So I just want to give a quick reminder. We've gone through this almost this exact slide in previous meetings, but it's a really important one. So I just want to give a quick reminder about how your resident rights are protected. So current Harlem River residents, and when we say Harlem River, we mean Harlem River houses and Harlem River 2, automatically qualify for Section 8 through the PACT program. So there's no test or anything to see if you qualify and are part of this program. You're by nature of living in the developments, either Harlem River houses or Harlem River 2, you automatically qualify for Section 8. In terms of rent, rent will be 30% of your adjusted gross household income after the conversion. If you currently pay a flat rent, your rent will increase over a 5-year period to 30% of your adjusted gross household income. Your PACT lease automatically renews each year. Utilities are included in your rent, and any vacancies that occur at Harlem River, and again, Harlem River and Harlem River 2, will be filled from the development's site-based waiting list, which is administered by NYCHA, specifically NYCHA's Section 8 Leased Housing Department. And Robert Tesserero, who manages that department, is actually on the line tonight, and I think will be available to answer any questions about the Section 8 program at the end of this call during the Q&A. So again, there are a number, this is a very quick overview, but there are a number of ways your resident rights are protected as part of this program, and it's a real priority for us to continuously communicate that to you. So now I'm going to pass it over to Jennifer at L&M to talk through some of the job opportunities that are and will be available at Harlem River houses for Harlem River houses and Harlem River 2 residents. Jennifer, if you'd like to unmute your mic and move forward.
Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Jennifer Fraticelli, and I am from L&M Development Partners. I'm a senior manager for our workforce and contractor diversity team, which means I will be managing the workforce portion of this project. And I'm really excited to talk about what opportunities will be available for you guys. So thank you for having me. So we are committed to giving back to the communities in which we develop in. One of the ways we give back is by providing free training and career opportunities to the residents. As we have mentioned in previous meetings, we will be offering job opportunities with both construction and property maintenance, where we will prioritize Harlem River residents. The construction opportunities will be prevailing wage, full-time positions. They will be entry-level positions, which means little to no experience is required to apply. These opportunities will be temporary, each lasting between 3 to 4 months, and will be available once construction begins in 2022. We have partnered with local labor union Local 79 to provide tenants with construction training, as well as employment opportunities. We will also offer free OSHA 40 classes to kickstart their career in the construction industry. We've partnered with various community organizations to ensure that candidates are provided with support and can access free training in soft skills and interview skills prior to meeting with potential employers. You can go to the next slide. So how can you apply? If you're interested in obtaining employment on this project, you can drop off your resume in our Dropbox, located at 210 West 153rd Street. We have included a picture on the slide of our Dropbox. You can also email your resume to info@harlemriver.org. If you see the picture there, that's what the Dropbox will look like. Please ensure that your resume is updated and it includes your contact information. If you need assistance updating your resume, you can reach out to Nitra Reese. They offer an array of services to get ready to work on this project. We can go to the next slide. So job training. We have officially scheduled our first OSHA training for Harlem River residents. The training will begin on January 17th, 2022, and will include 7 sessions. To register, you can email us at info@harlemriver.org. Although hiring will not start until February 2022, we have begun to post our job opportunities on our website. You can visit www.harlemriver.org/jobs or scan the WR code. You see that code right there on the presentation. If you scan that, it'll take you right to the job descriptions and you can submit your information for consideration. Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. So now we're going to move on to the question and answer portion of this town hall meeting. Just a quick reminder about how to ask a question. You can, first of all, type your question in the webinar chat, and I know some of you have been doing that already. We will either type a response or answer the question out loud. You can also raise your hand in Zoom, and I will call on you, ask you to unmute your mic, and then you'll be able to ask your question out loud. If you're using a smartphone and you'd like to raise your hand, you can tap the screen of the Zoom meeting. A toolbar will appear. Tap participants and then tap raise hand. If you are using a computer, move your mouse on the Zoom meeting screen to reveal the toolbar. Click participants and click raise hand. And if you're calling into the meeting using a telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. I will ask you to unmute. And then you can ask your question. So to start, why don't we go to the phone number ending in 2629. Would you please unmute your mic and ask your question?
Hello.
Hi, we can hear you.
Good evening. I'm calling because I live in Harlem River 2, and I'd like to know when they're going to start on that building.
Sure, we can absolutely answer that. Thank you for the question. So I will answer some of this question sum of this question, and then I will pass it over to our general contractor, Ellie Himmelstein, or the representative from our general contractor, Ellie Himmelstein. So the renovations in the apartments at Harlem River 2 will occur after the renovations in the apartments at Harlem River houses. With that said, there is a lot of work that's going to be done at Harlem River 2 at the exact same time as Harlem River houses, including work that will start very soon after we close. So Ellie, if you can, would you please walk through some of the work that will occur? And then I'm going to also pass it over to Priscilla to talk through some of what the conversion will bring to Harlem River 2 right after we close. So Ellie, please. Ellie, can you hear us?
I apologize. I had myself on mute. So sure, from day one, as soon as we get the green light and the project is closed, we're going to replace the existing sidewalk shed. We're going to make sure that it's in excellent condition. It will be a new shed with better lighting. Second, if there are any active leaks at the roof, which from what we've seen, there are several, we will be able to address those immediately, weather permitting. Weather permitting meaning as long as it's not under several feet of snow, we'll be able to tackle that and get the roof temporarily repaired. Bigger picture, we'll be looking to start masonry repairs, roofing, eventually looking at cladding the tower, looking at getting inside to all of these stairwells and hallways and upgrading the existing lighting to new LED light fixtures, which is just going to be brighter, safer, put illuminated exit signs at the appropriate areas, looking at replacing with the management company, looking at making sure that all doors are secured, and just a whole host of scope that we'll be able to start at the tower, regardless of whether or not we'll be starting with your apartments first. I know there's been a lot of focus on the schedule, and we've certainly been pushed by the development team to provide one, but I think everyone understands that there's a lot that's in flux. We're hearing the feedback from the residents, and bottom line, we want to get the work done as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
Thank you, Ellie. And Priscilla, would you talk through a bit about what the transition will bring to residents of both Harlem River houses and Harlem River 2?
Hello?
Yes, I'm sorry.
I had another question.
Yes, absolutely. So just before you ask another question, I just want to make sure that we get through your first question, and there's still a bit more about what the conversion will mean for Harlem River 2. So I just wanted Priscilla to talk through for a second. Priscilla, could you just say a bit about what the conversion will mean for Harlem River 2 when closing occurs? So security, property management, if you would talk through that for a second.
Sure, I'll go quickly. I know that she has another question. So our teams will be looking to bring a dedicated staff to hone in on the requests from the residents. So we'll be looking to have our proper maintenance staff to come in and have a proper schedule for cleaning. We'll also be looking to have a dedicated staff to take care of landscaping. Like I said, cleaning, a dedicated schedule, because that obviously is one of the needs of the residents. We'll have security presence. We'll also be looking to undertake work orders, day-to-day repairs and things of that nature, and just being the face and presence for the residents on day-to-day communication that is very much needed for day-to-day management and upkeep of the development, and also units for Harlem River houses 1 and 2. Sorry, ma'am, you can proceed.
Okay. I have a washing machine and fans, overhead fans, and I didn't see a place for those in the model.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So in general, the renovations that are planned for the units are standard. They're planned for all of the units. With that said, if there are particular things in your unit that you would like, we're absolutely happy to talk to you about accommodations. I would say that there are a number of things that will very likely make it unnecessary to have certain things that many residents do have once the work is complete. So for example, the heating and cooling system will be electrified, and all residents will have a system in their home that provides both heating and cooling. So many residents as of now have a window air conditioning unit or an overhead fan, and they'll now have installed a central essentially a central unit that will provide both heating and cooling. We'll also be installing 3 laundry rooms with washers and dryers in the development. But again, if there are specific needs that you have in your unit, specific requests that you'd like to make, we do invite you to let us know about that. As part of the process, we will be meeting with every resident one-on-one, every household, I should say. So when we do reach out to you to schedule those meetings, we invite you to let us know any particular accommodation that you'd like to be considered, and we'd love to discuss it with you at that time. So I want to move to another question. Apologies if I pronounced this incorrectly. Joni Acevedo, would you please unmute your mic and ask your question?
Good evening. My name is Joni Acevedo, and I'm calling and I'm listening into everything that's going on with the reservations and everything that's going on. But I want to know is that this is something that's already been in the works to fix. But I want to know is it being bought for the tenants to buy the apartments, or how this is going to go? Because from what I understanding is that it's another company that's coming in to fix everything, to make everything okay and fix everything on that. But I think personally, there's other stuff under the table that you're not telling the tenants. Either they're going to have the rights to buy the apartments, or what's going on, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm noticing, and I'm looking into things, different things that's going on with all the developments. But personally, I want to know what the real deal is. I understand that they want to fix the apartments and everything, and from what I'm hearing, that the tenant association presidents were offered $25,000 to give up to the PAC program, and this was already implemented somewhere else in the Bronx. I get it that they want to fix everything on that, but there's always an agenda to everything that's going on.
Sure. So to answer your question,
come in, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. So I'd like to pass it over to Simon from NYCHA to take that question. Simon, do you mind answering?
Yeah, good evening, Ms. Acevedo. Thanks for your comment. I will say there's a lot of misinformation out there about the PACT program and about the work at Harlem River specifically. It's absolutely untrue that any residents are being offered any buyouts or any amount of money. I think what happens is that a lot of this sounds too good to be true, and there are certainly a lot of trust issues between NYCHA and our residents over the years, and so I certainly understand why people would be skeptical about our intentions here, but our goal is simply to improve your quality of life and bring these improvements to your homes. This is not anything new or different that we're doing. This is a tried and true program that HUD created in 2012 that we're taking advantage of to raise funding for repairs. That's simply, what we're doing and how we're trying to, again, make those important upgrades and improve your quality of life. This is a program that HUD closely regulates. They review all of the information, all of the materials, the plans, the financing, all of the money and budgeting. HUD has to review and approve, and they're doing that right now with us. And we've already done this across the city. There are over 9,500 apartments all across the city that have already transitioned to private management through the PACT program and are at different stages of the construction process. A number of developments have already completed construction. Many others are still in the middle of construction. And so this is really a tried and true model that we're using here in New York City and that other housing authorities are using across the country. Again, I recognize the trust issues, and that's something that I think we're only going to be able to resolve by allowing our actions to speak for themselves. I am confident that everybody is going to be very pleased with the end result. That doesn't mean it's not going to be difficult. Construction is always a challenge. There are going to be some painful moments, as we all know, but that's what we're doing here, and that's the simple truth.
Thank you, Simon. I'd like to go over and see if the Spanish line has any questions. Spanish line, do you have any questions? Great.
Please hold. No question on the Spanish line so far.
No questions. Thank you. And from the Chinese line, any questions so far?
No question either.
Great. So we'll move back to the raised hands. Would Aisatu Kanute please unmute your mic and ask your question? Aisatu, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Aisatu? I think that worked. Hello, yes, we can hear you.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm great. Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Aisatu. My question is, when they want to repair the apartment, we have another place to be there until they finish repair the apartment or not? Because
Yes,
you know, we have a lot of stuff, you know.
Yes, that is a great question. Thank you for asking that, Aisatu. So when the repairs occur, so first of all, this is a question that has been asked in previous meetings. So I'm going to give an answer to it, but there is definitely a lot more information about this question in the previous meeting recordings on our website. So I do encourage you to go to our website and listen to previous town hall meetings. But with that said, I will also answer it. So when the repairs occur, residents will not be in their unit. So before we go and schedule your unit, we will reach out to you at least 30 days in advance, to schedule a conversation with your household, to let you know the date of your temporary move, and also to, of course, answer any questions, to hear about any special accommodations that you need. We will also provide you with a number of different pieces of support, and we will provide packing tape, boxes, movers to move your belongings that you need during the renovation to a temporary accommodation. All temporary accommodations are inside of Harlem River. So you will be living with your family in a comparably sized unit as what you currently live in. And the unit will already have been renovated. So it will be a unit that is vacant. No one lives there right now. We will already have renovated it, and we will set it up with furniture, with Wi-Fi and cable. And that will be your temporary accommodation for the duration of your move. You can leave your furniture and your belongings in your current unit when you go and do this temporary move, which will last for 6 weeks. For your items that remain in your apartment, we will provide a moving team to help you box everything up so that it can be protected. And then when the actual construction work occurs, your items will be clustered in the center of your apartment and covered with several coats of plastic sheeting to protect them from any damage. So to answer your question simply, no, you will not be in your unit during the work itself. It is unsafe to be in there because it will be a construction site. but you will be still in Harlem River. You will be in a vacant unit at Harlem River that has already been renovated, and we will provide you with a number of different pieces of support to help you move to that unit temporarily. You will get a financial stipend to cover out-of-pocket expenses, and we'll provide a lot of different pieces of support so that you feel comfortable and that your needs are accommodated. The document that we're going to send out in the next few weeks to every single apartment includes a lot more information about this. We hope that we'll answer most of your questions, but we also do invite you to keep coming to this meeting as well as our next town hall meeting. Please visit our management office. This is obviously a very complicated process, and we really do appreciate this question. We want you to feel comfortable that your needs will be met during your temporary move, which will last for 6 weeks, and we look forward to continuing to answer these questions. So with that, I will move on to Migdalia Pena. Would you please unmute your mic?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Okay, how are you? Good afternoon.
Great. Good afternoon.
I'm calling from Harlem River 1. So it looks like
Great.
those pictures that you just we just saw, it doesn't even look like the apartments on this building on 2850 8th Avenue. And I want to ask you another question. Right now, the whole entire building is without gas. So what's the situation with that?
Sure. Simon, do you mind answering this question about the gas at Harlem River 2?
Yeah, sure. When I spoke earlier, I mentioned that we are aware of the gas issue at Harlem River 2. I connected with the property manager this evening, and they're still working on getting their vendors in to give them an estimate of when the work could begin and they could turn the cooking gas back on, or if they'd be able to turn on some of the gas to some apartments while they continue to work on the rest of the lines that are affected. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer right now. We will send out notifications as soon as we have more information on the status of that work. I know it's an extremely difficult time for this to have happened. There are hot plates available, I'm told. If you reach out to the management office, they would be provided to anyone in need in the meantime. But again, I unfortunately don't have updates to share right now, but we can be sure to share more about the timing for when the gas would be turned back on as soon as we know more.
Great.
Okay,
And
I
also-
understand that part, but the thing is that they give out the hot plate, but I have a big family. I have 3 children in the house plus myself. And it took me today only with 1 hot plate, almost 4 hours to cook. So if they would have say, let me give 2 hot plates to a big family, that would be okay. But just one hot plate is not enough for us to even cook for a meal for a day,
Simon, is this something that is this something that residents can go to the property management office about?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you should be able to ask if you could have a second hot plate. If there are any issues, can you message us privately and we can look into making sure that you can get that second hot plate if needed?
Okay, so where should I send you the email?
Can somebody on the line from the team reach out to you if we have your information? I'm not sure the best way to get your information, but we can follow up with you directly.
Yeah, Migdalia, I'll follow up with you directly. I'm going to write you a message right now, and if you could send me just your contact information, we'll be sure to get in touch with you.
Okay, so you're going to do it through chat, right?
Yes, I just sent you a message. I also want to answer your other question, because you did actually ask 2 questions, and the other one is quite a good one. You mentioned that correct me if I'm saying this wrong, that the images of the model unit that all apartments will look like the layout looks different. Is that what you said?
Yes, it doesn't look like the layout of the apartments on this building.
Right. So Ellie from L&M Builders, do you mind talking about just sort of what the model unit is and how the work will, like the extent of the work in units that are different layouts than the model unit?
Yeah, to the resident's question, the developer and actually NYCHA had already requested that the general contractor provide another model unit in the tower itself. So you'll have a better example of how the layouts will look within your building. But in general, what you're seeing there is exactly what you're going to get in the tower. It's just a slightly different configuration. So same size cabinets, same appliances, same flooring, same finishes. No one's looking to differentiate between the towers and the low-rise building. But stay tuned. Hopefully, within the next few months, we'll have a completed model unit in the tower as well.
And also, as far as I'm concerned, they're not going to start this building yet, right?
So I can take that one. Thank you for the question. So for the in-unit renovation, so the big construction work in the apartments themselves, that is correct. The apartments at Harlem River Houses will be first. But again, I don't know if you were on the line when this was discussed, but that does not mean that no work will occur at Harlem River 2. There's a lot of work that will occur right away. And also the property management transition that is happening. So CNC Apartment Management coming in and serving as property manager will also be at Harlem River 2 right away. So that means repairs that are needed. It means security. It means social services. And then also Ellie talked through some of the building upgrades. So there will be repair of major leaks and other types of work that will occur at Harlem River 2 starting right away.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I just muted you by accident, Migdalia.
Yes. Okay. So because the door on the front building is not secure, and I don't feel secure anymore in the building. This door is always open, and if it's closed, the key doesn't work, and
Sure.
It's a lot of hassle. And I'm a single mom. I went downstairs the other day through the staircase because the elevator wasn't working. And it was a man on the staircase that I never seen in the building. I felt scared going downstairs with my kids. It's not fair that we had to go through all this situation and nobody is taking note about all this situation that we are going through here. And I'm not going to talk about the other tenant, but I'm talking about myself. My rent is paid today. I don't give no problem to housing to anybody. I'm a good tenant. So I'm always talking about for myself and my family, but it's not fair that we have to go through all this just because somebody else is going to take over and nobody's taking care of business in the building.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. That's really, really disturbing. So first of all, Simon, is this something that the issues with the door at 2850, is this something I'd like to escalate that to NYCHA? So Simon, I'll love to talk to you offline about that. And then Ellie, can you talk through some of the security upgrades that will occur at the tower and really actually across the developments, but specifically at the tower? Can you talk through some of the improvements that we'll be making with regard to security?
Yeah, surely. Just briefly, because I believe you mentioned the elevators. We've already secured a contractor for the elevators. We're getting shop drawings. We're trying to prep everything so that when the property does close and we get the green light from Harlem River Preservation, we can hit the ground running and modernize both of those elevators. In terms of security, we received a lot of feedback on this from NYCHA, from the residents, from the development team, and basically you're looking at upgraded lighting throughout the site. So as someone is walking home, back from work, back from school, whatever, the paths themselves will be more clearly lit. There'll be cameras on all the building exteriors, which will be monitored by CNC's security staff and as well as recorded. And within the buildings themselves, whether it's the stairwells or the common area hallways that you have in the tower, as well as the stairwells In the low-rise buildings, there will be cameras there as well. So it's a pretty advanced system, and the idea is just to create a safer environment for the residents as monitored by CNC's security staff.
Thank you, Ellie. I do want to give other folks a chance to ask questions. I know there's a lot in here, so I do want to move on. Can we please have the number ending in 3177? Unmute your mic and ask your question.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Like what Ms. Acevedo was saying, it's like there's a hidden agenda here. It's like, why are you giving elderly tenants, some who don't speak English, eviction notices? You want us to sign leases with CNC management. They're slumlords. You're promising us all these amenities, which don't make a difference. It's just more to clean. And prior to that, my last question is, you had 3 meetings about relocation. The first one, you said that you would relocate us to one of the buildings, the apartments that are already renovated. The next one, you said, oh, well, you could go stay with some relatives or whatever you have to do. We'll give you some money, blah, blah, blah. Now you're back to, oh, you can go stay in a renovated apartment. Can you clarify yourselves, because you're not making sense, really. You're not making any sense whatsoever.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to answer those questions. So I'll answer, hold on a second. I will answer the last question that you asked, and then I'm going to pass it over to Simon to answer your other questions. So for your temporary move, apologies if there was any confusion. Every single household will have access to an on-site temporary accommodation that is renovated. Every household, if you would like, has access to an on-site accommodation that is vacant, that will be fully renovated, that will have furniture, Wi-Fi, and cable. The opportunity to choose to stay with family or friends is just if you would like to. Folks that would like to do that, that are more comfortable doing that, are free to do so. We are providing a financial stipend no matter what your household chooses to do. If you stay with family or friends, we anticipate folks in that situation may have more out-of-pocket expenses. So the stipend is higher if you choose to do that option, but that does not mean that you don't have access to the vacant renovated unit at the development if that is what you prefer. So when we meet, I mentioned this before, before your temporary move, we will reach out to you at least 30 days in advance to let you know the date and time and logistics about your temporary move. And at that point, we will share much more information and talk through all your questions one-on-one about these different options. In general, they are the ones that I mentioned, which is, again, you can stay in a temporary vacant unit at the development that has already been renovated, or you can, if you feel more comfortable, you can stay with family or friends. Simon, I know we've gotten this question already, but do you want to address the concerns about sort of some sort of motive, and also about lease signing? And I know if Robert also wants to jump in on that, that would be great.
I'm sorry, can you just clarify the question?
Yeah, I think the tenant just asked what kind of why they have to sign new leases, and maybe that's a question that's better suited for Robert. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to that, and Robert, please feel free to chime in. You know, the lease is really critical because it's what, one, actually protects you. It locks in your rent at being 30% of your adjusted gross household income. It sets forth all of your rights as a tenant, and sets out certain forms of recourse and remedies that you can pursue in case of any issues with the property manager. It also ensures that your family members could have succession rights to your apartment if you ever move away. There are a lot of really critical things in the lease document that, when we talk about how PACT preserves your rights and protections, are actually included and contained within the lease document. And remember, the lease has been fully vetted by the Legal Aid Society. And we also have the hotline where anyone can call and get free advice from a legal aid attorney if they have questions about the lease specifically. But really importantly, also, the lease is what allows us to turn on the funding. If we don't have signed leases from our residents, HUD does not allow us to convert to this more lucrative and more stable source of funding called project-based Section 8. So it's really important for a number of reasons that everybody sign their lease. And again, we provide free legal assistance to anyone who has any questions or is nervous about signing or has any specific issue about their personal tenancy or personal situation that they want clarified. To address your other question, I mean, I can attest that the partners CNC are not slumlords. We have partnered with them on a number of other projects that have been immensely successful. Again, the whole point of this program is to provide you with better resources, better property management services than you're currently receiving today from NYCHA. And I work for NYCHA. And I can honestly say that you are going to be better served at Harlem River by the team, CNC and their partners, than you are by NYCHA. I mean, that's just self-evident if you are a resident. And I fully believe that you'll be happy once the work is done. It's not going to be easy, but that is our goal.
Thank you, Simon. I just want to check and see if we have any questions on the Spanish translation line.
No questions on the Spanish line so far, Sam.
Okay, thank you. And also on the Chinese line?
No questions on the
Okay.
Mandarin line.
Thank you so much. So let's go back to the chat. Could I please have the number ending in 4208 unmute your mic and ask your question.
Hello.
Hello, how are you, ma'am?
My question was, I guess, the same as the ladies, because the picture that y'all have, the wall is flat. I'm in my kitchen right now, and I have a pipe at my ceiling coming all the way down to my stove. So how is my wall going to look like the picture that I'm seeing on this paper?
Great, thank you so much for that question. Ellie, I'm not sure of that specific condition, but Ellie, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, that's a great question. You were paying attention. And I probably should have spoke to that when we were going through the pictures. So right now, most of the units, if not all of them, have a gas riser right behind the range. And what happens with that is two things. First of all, you're not able to back your range all the way against the wall. So things fall behind there. But also more importantly, we wouldn't be able to install a range hood, which is a nice addition to the apartment. It helps vent any cooking gases, or whether it's steam or grease that you're cooking with, away from the range. You wouldn't be able to install that directly above the range because there isn't a wall behind the range. There's a gas riser. So what we've done, and this will be a lot easier to see when you come hopefully to see the unit in person, but what we've done is we've basically furred out a wall in front of that gas riser. So you're seeing a new sheetrock wall. So this allowed us to do a couple of things. First of all, it doesn't take up a lot of space from the existing kitchen. They're still basically the size that they were beforehand, but it gives us a nice clean wall to be installing all the new cabinets. It allows us to relocate the electrical outlets to more convenient areas. And to your point, it allows us to conceal the gas riser and hang the new range hood.
So I have another question. Being that I have a washing machine, my hose is connected to my sink. If you put in the sink in the middle, how's my hose going to reach it?
We're going to reconnect. That's one of the things that we do for the residents who do have washing machines. if you want to get rid of it because the developer is adding a centralized laundry room in or actually
No, I don't want to get rid of my washing machine. I like doing my laundry at home.
Understandable. So if as a resident you want to keep your washing machine, that's fine, and we'll reconnect it to the existing plumbing. We'll make sure that it's not leaking and that it has a new plumbing connection. So that's part of our scope.
All right, thank you.
Sure, great question.
Thanks so much. Okay. Let's move on to another question. Can I please have I'm trying to pick folks that haven't asked yet. I think the number ending in 5414. Would you please unmute your mic and ask your question? Can you hear us?
You can hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Hi, sir.
Yeah, how you doing? So
Great. How are you?
I got two questions. I got two questions about the construction job. Like, is it a 3-year job for the Nitro residents?
That's a great question. Jennifer, do you want to take that question about construction jobs?
Sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So as of right now, I am unsure of the projections for the jobs and the opportunities. Right now, the opportunities that are available, we know are jobs that will last between 3 and 4 months. But I am unsure if we are able to potentially take those and continue on and move them to other positions potentially. My coworker, Judy Jurina, is managing the workforce on this project, and she is currently unavailable at this time. She's on vacation, so she may know more about the longevity of the construction jobs. But at the moment, I know that the timeline given for the opportunities available are between 3 and 4 months for temporary construction work.
So, sir, with that in mind, given that Judy is on vacation just for Christmas, we really do encourage you to drop off, even if you're just interested in learning more information. There's no commitment, if you're not interested, and if you end up just wanting more information, that's totally fine. But if you do want to talk with us about jobs, we really, really would love to. We have a Dropbox that's just located right outside our office. And if you want to just drop your resume in, if you have your contact information on there, we can reach out to you and talk more once Judy is back in the office, and we'll be able to answer your question more specifically.
Okay. I mean, that ain't really getting me nowhere, because the fact that y'all doing the OSHA classes for everybody, for the residents, and then, like, I do construction, and it's like I know about the prevailing wage jobs. Like, I was gonna ask, like, what's the starting salary? Like, I know about these things because I've seen developments done. I've seen the developments done already in Brooklyn and in certain parts of Brooklyn. The same exact format, the same exact layout is the same exact how y'all doing here in Harlem River. So I already see. I don't need to go and see the reservation, because I've done seen this so many times already. What they did with a lot of projects in Brooklyn. And they made it look, nice. The inside, the outside is cool, but I just want to know about the prevailing wage jobs, because I know they pay good money. So I want to know how long that's going to be.
We definitely want to answer the question. It's just a matter of we'd love to have that conversation with you. The individual that is managing jobs and hiring for this project is just away for Christmas. I believe she gets back in early January. So I just really do invite you to drop off your resume in our Dropbox, and just note that you're interested in discussing prevailing wage positions. And then we can reach out to you directly and have a conversation with you. And the individual, Judy, who manages the hiring for this project, will be able to share more information with you that answers your question.
All right. Well, one more thing before we go.
Yes, please.
Kitchen, in the kitchen, it shows like on the paper, it shows like the sink and everything is on the opposite side of the wall. I seeing that correctly, or is that? I'm trying to figure out, because you know some people got 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 1-bedroom, so everybody can look possibly the same. So I'm trying to figure out, like, as I'm looking at the paper, I'm thinking like, well, so are they gonna move the sink area to the opposite side? Like, it's already on the right hand side, so y'all gonna move it to the left hand side, or how that's working?
So I can talk to you construction, because you clearly know what you're talking about. So the quick answer is that the wet wall is going to stay in the existing area. We're not repositioning any of the plumbing. That would just be way too invasive. And the truth is the layouts are fine. So we're keeping things exactly where they're located. So your sink will stay where your sink is. It's just essentially new.
So where's that extra piece gonna be at? Because I'm like, where's that? Is it gonna be on the corner right here?
Sorry, in that second photo with that smaller cabinet.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're
kitchen, right?
Yeah, so that they're roughly, and it's changed because they've revised the drawings, but they're roughly 8 or 9 different layouts within the property. They're.
But y'all only giving us the layout that's showing to everybody in Harlem River. Like, that's the same layout on a paper. It's not showing no 2 different sides or anything.
Right. Even within Harlem River, there are multiple layouts. But to your point, I think we got to get that additional model unit in place, and then it'll be a lot clearer to residents. But essentially, if you have a wall right now with cabinets on it or fixtures in your kitchen or bathroom, that's going to stay within the same location.
Yeah, and just to be clear, the model unit is meant to show folks the finishes and the work that will occur. It doesn't mean that everyone, there are different configurations, different sizes of units. There's studios and 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, all different sizes of units. What we wanted to do is we wanted to, as quickly as possible, just give folks a sense and have you be able to look at the finishes and the quality of the work, to give you an idea of what your apartment will look like. The work itself, though, will fit the unit that you actually live in. We're going to continue to actually do these renovations, in part because we're renovating units in advance of any of the temporary moves, because these are the units that will host temporary moves. And again, the unit that you live in, the finishes will be constructed in your unit to fit your unit size.
All right, and these TVs I got mounted on my wall that I paid for, I got receipts and everything. Am I gonna get complimented for that? Because, you know, I got TVs mounted to the wall. I got to take these down myself, and I didn't put them up myself.
Yeah, so we will be paying to have televisions removed from the wall, and then we will also hang it back up at the end of construction. You do not need to pay for that. That will be covered by the developer, both taking it down as well as putting it back up.
All right, thank you.
And we will work with your household directly so that we make sure that we're putting it in the right place. But yes, we'll have a one-on-one conversation with your household to make sure that it is taken down appropriately, and then just before you move back in after the temporary move, that it is hung back up according to where you'd like it to go.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for your questions.
Yep.
Thanks so much. Okay. Let's take another question. We have about 15 minutes left. Could I please have, I'm sorry if I mispronounce this, Jaharasan Ferrer, unmute and ask your question.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, ma'am.
Hi. I have several. My daughter always lived with me, and she has 4 children. During the time that she was living with me, she applied for housing. It's been about 13 years she's been on the waiting list. However, the housing forced her to leave my apartment because of the amount of kids that she has. Yet they still never approved her or gave her an interview to actually go see an apartment or anything like that. So right now she's living in a house that she's renting an apartment, and so she wanted to know does that disqualify her? Because now it's like it's taking longer, and when she called, they said that they don't find her in the system.
So I'm not sure about that particular case. Robert, do you want to, I don't know if you're able to address that. Robert Tesserero from
Yeah,
19.
yeah. Hi, this is Robert from Section 8. Are you talking about a Section 8 application? Because the Section 8 waiting list has been closed since 2009. And if it's public housing, that list is still open. So she needs to call the customer contact center on that.
Yeah, it's public housing. She's been on already 13 years.
Okay. Does she have access to the portal? Because if she can go on the portal, she can see whether her case is active or not. If it's not active, she's going to have to reapply. So that's very important that she confirms if her case is active or not. But on the Section 8 side, there's no vouchers that we're going to be given for this deal. The Section 8 is only for in-place public housing residents that will be converting at Harlem.
Okay. Well, I reside in Throsneck.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I reside in Throsneck.
Oh, Throsneck. Okay. Yeah, no. So again, same thing. I really recommend that she either call the customer contact center, go on the portal, and if it's closed, to reapply, because the public housing wait list is still open, but not Section 8.
Okay, and my other question is, this says, you know, I find it's more like a concern, because it's gonna be two. The elevators where we live at, you know, I live on the 11th floor, and my apartment is always shaking, like the building is cracking, because the roof, the elevator hits the roof, and you can hear the elevator slam onto it. And a few times people have gotten stuck on it. I've been telling Ms. Johnson, the tenant association president, about the situation, and she's saying that there's not enough fundings to cover, or to at least, so it's getting out of control.
So Ms. Ferrer, just to understand, are you a Harlem River 2 resident?
I'm sorry?
So I understand, are you a resident of Harlem River houses or Harlem River 2?
No.
Okay, so this presentation and this conversation is specifically geared towards the scope of work and questions that are pertaining to Harlem River. So I'm not sure that we're going to be able to answer questions about another development at this time, because this is specific to Harlem River.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about it. My greatest concern is that my cousin lives down in South Street Seaport, and they have a sink in the kitchen, no cabinets or anything, complete mold, which looks like foam growing out of her walls. And they have a sink that looks like a potty, you know, and she's suffering. She's a 9/11 victim. She has lumps all over her chest because she has cancer. So not only is she absorbing all of that, she's also getting repeatedly sick and having to be admitted into the hospital because they're not doing their job in Manhattan at all. So, you know, I wanted to know, what can she do? Because she's been looking for resources, and I posted up a video for her where it shows how much of the damage and what they're not doing. Her ceiling is falling. It's a lot of things going on, and she lives by the FDR, which is not helping, because every time that there's, you know, water rising, her apartment is consuming enough damage, and they're not repairing anything at all.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm going to actually direct you. Would you mind please reaching out directly to Simon Kavitsky over the chat? It sounds like there are a number of issues that you'd like to discuss, and I just want to make sure that they are addressed. I do also want to make sure that this presentation, that we have time for folks that have questions about Harlem River. So ma'am, please do reach out to Simon over the chat, and please do ask your questions. And we want to make sure that we get you to the right place, and also make sure that we take some more questions about Harlem River. So I'd like to keep moving. Would Michelle Johnson please unmute your mic and ask your question? Michelle, can you hear us? You should be able to unmute your mic.
Hey, hello. Hello.
Hi, Ms. Johnson. How are you? Yep, we can hear you.
Thank you. So glad you called on me.
No
Woo, I didn't
problem.
think this was gonna happen today. Okay. I wanted
Lots of
to,
questions.
yes, I have so many questions. Okay, but I was reading through the notes and I see that you guys said you're not gonna make the apartment smaller, and that one of the people said about PAC. I see that you have, okay, I wanted to piggyback off what Joni said when she asked the question earlier about us purchasing the apartment ourselves. So I know that you guys want to purchase the apartment because a lot of people don't. I've been around the neighborhood and I realize a lot of people do not want Section 8. Section 8 rules are completely different from NYCHA's rules. It's not completely different, but it's somewhat different from NYCHA's rules. So, and that's a reason why. But the thing is that why can't we have the option of purchasing the apartments ourselves? HPD has a program called Tilt, and they're able to help people that lives in these in apartments, and we could purchase the apartment ourselves and then have a co-op. Why isn't that afforded to us? We lived in these, I've been here since 1991, and I don't see why that I have to go from one program, one set of rules with NYCHA and then go to Section 8. I don't want to deal with Section 8. I would prefer to deal with just paying a maintenance and owning my own property. Why? I mean, well, having a share in the property. Why you guys are not giving us or speaking on that and allowing us that option and just shoving the Section 8 down our throat? I have many other questions, but since I've been on hold for so long, that's irrelevant.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to try to get an answer to that question. I do want to have Simon address why sort of NYCHA's decision making in having the PACT program apply at Harlem River. Simon, would you like to take this one?
Sure. Good evening, Ms. Johnson. So there are different kinds of Section 8, and I just want to clarify the kind of Section 8 that we're talking about here and how this works. So many people are familiar with the Section 8 voucher that you can take and use to rent an apartment on the private market. That's what most people think about when they think about Section 8, and you're absolutely correct that the program is very different from public housing. That essentially that voucher allows you to rent an apartment from a private landlord, and it pays a certain amount of money, and you have to pay the difference between what that voucher will pay and the rent for that apartment. Project-based Section 8 is actually attached to your apartment and your development. It doesn't travel with you. It works in the same way that the public housing program works, where HUD, the federal government, provides us with a subsidy that we use to pay for the operations and maintenance of your development. The difference between the public housing program and project-based Section 8 is that project-based Section 8 provides us with more funding per apartment, so we can take better care of your development, and it's a more stable source of funding. So, as with public housing, funding goes up and down depending on congressional allocations and budgeting processes. We're guaranteed a certain level of funding year over year, and that certainty allows us to raise the money that we need to take care of these repairs. So I just want to clarify that these are very different types of Section 8 programs, and HUD created this initiative that allows us to actually transition from public housing to project-based Section 8 in a very specific way. So we're actually, yeah.
Okay. So the thing is not so much because when David Patterson was in office, apparently Section 8 disappeared. Okay. And a lot of people was in the shelters. And I know that you're saying that that's possibly not going to happen, but the same funding that you're getting to fix and to keep the property keep the property up, we can still get that same funding if we went through HPD and was on a TILT program and had the co-op. If we had it as a co-op, what would happen is that we will be in charge of managing our own our own maintenance, the people, the grounds, and keeping up the grounds. There's a lot of people in Harlem River that's been here for years and years that goes out in the park and sit in the park, work, and they're retired, and they would not mind making sure the grounds are done. I don't see why that us owning the property or having some share in the property, why that option is taken off the table. And that's the real question. Not so much in Section 8 and all this other stuff. The question is, why is that taken off the question for us? Is it because we are a people of minority? That we don't even get that question. I mean, we don't even get to have that option up, because we want to own our own things as well. We work many jobs. I work for the city. I work for the city for 20 years already. And why I don't have the option? Every time I get a raise, my rent goes up.
Sure.
If I own my own property, I wouldn't have to go through that.
Sure. I mean, I can respond to that. And we've looked into this. The way that this program is set up doesn't actually allow us to sell the properties to residents. It was conceived of by HUD as a rental program that continues to function in the same way as public housing functions. Now, if there's interest in participating in all the benefits that are created, like job creation, the team on the call definitely talked about opportunities to plug job seekers into opportunities either in construction or the management of the development.
Right. We have that through Reese. So I understand that. So through Reese, we're able to get all of those programs and they have all the opportunities. That's fine. That's through housing.
But the team here, the team here is going to be promoting specific opportunities for this development so that you could work at the development where you live. They're also going to be providing OSHA training and other things to make sure that people are prepared. So it's in addition to the services that Reese offers.
Okay, but the thing is that we are not being afforded that opportunity to purchase or even go. And I understand that you're saying that wasn't given to you by HUD, right? But HPD said it's possible.
So HPD's program, I worked at HPD before coming to NYCHA, and the TIL program is a program that allowed HPD, the city, to take over properties that were abandoned by their owners, and has worked to. So this is private housing. This is not public housing. These are privately owned buildings that HPD has taken over as stewards or guardians, and they work with the residents to convert those developments into cooperative buildings. So the rules are very different when you're talking about housing in the private market compared to public housing. We're highly regulated by HUD. And this is a public good, right? Public housing is for posterity, for the residents of New York City to benefit from.
Yes.
It's not something that, I think HUD is interested in us taking and giving to a very specific group to benefit from. They want to allow for other people to benstill from this.
So the thing is that we're not just, because once you go through HPD, it doesn't just become private. It's still public. So the thing is with which you go into CNC management, that's a private program. Okay, you guys are getting all the funding that you guys work in conjunction with through HUD to get the funding so you guys can to manage the property. Whereas why isn't that opportunity offered to us once again? Because through HPD offered the program to where we're able to manage get the same funding that you guys get. So we're able to deal with the same issues. We're able to clean the stairwell. We're able to fix the locks on the doors. And it's not privatizing it. You have Esplanade over there. Esplanade is not privatized. What it is this program through HPD. Okay, and people could come in the same way they come in through NYCHA.
Right. I just want to clarify.
It seems as if we're not given the opportunity, and I want to know why we aren't given that opportunity. Okay, and I feel that it's just taken away from us, and I feel I'm trying to figure out if it's because of who we are, okay, and where the property is, because you're snatching up everything. When you snatch this up, we all live on a certain income. When we go for jobs, because of who we are, we're not offered the top pay. We're offered the medium or lower part of the pay. But now when you come into coming in and you want us to go over to Section 8 and you're going to take over with CNC management. Now we can't pay the rent that you're asking for. So that's why you have Section 8 covering the other portion of the rent, the other 70% of the rent. Okay. And if we lose the Section 8, then we're going to be supposed to pay for the entire 100% of the rent.
Ms. Johnson, I just want to step in for a second because I just want to respond to a few things that you've said, and then I want to allow for us to take some other questions from people on the line. I just want to clarify, nobody is buying this development, and this is absolutely not privatization. As I said,
not buying, but then they're giving CNC management. Okay, they're giving them the opportunity to manage it. And
correct.
if you right, so why can't they give the same opportunity to the residents?
That is not how the program is set up. I mean, I know that there is a lot of interest across the city in thinking about ways to include residents in the ownership and oversight of these developments as they go through this process, and that is something that we're interested in looking into, but that is not something that exists right now or for Harlem River. We are bringing in CNC. How can we bring that to the table? How can we bring that to the table? I can't answer that question right now. You know, this is the way that we have conceived of the program, and CNC and the others on the line are coming in to assist us in doing our job better, right? So NYCHA is continuing to own the property. It is going to be a public resource. This is going to remain a NYCHA resident. They're helping us take better care of our properties, take care of you, and make all the upgrades that are needed. And that's how the program works.
So if I do not want to sign the new, I signed a lease, or when I moved in here, like I said, 1991, and I've been signing ever since then. And I do not want to sign a lease under CNC management. I do not want to have anything to do with the Section 8. I want to continue working, dealing with NYCHA, period. So
you will continue dealing with NYCHA. You know, the NYCHA is going to be responsible fully for certifying your income. We're going to be the ones setting your rent, and we're the ones that are going to be tenanting any vacant apartments. So we're still here in an oversight role. We're monitoring everything that happens at your development. It's our partners who are going to be taking care of the property, responding to repair requests, doing cleaning and maintenance. But again, you are going to continue to remain a NYCHA resident, and we are going to fully oversee your income certification and your rent. There is no opportunity for your rent to increase above 30% of your adjusted gross household income. That is a HUD requirement, and it is also in your lease. So it's really important, again, that you sign the lease. And I just want to take a moment. We're going to go on to take the next question, but everybody must sign their lease, and there's no reason that you shouldn't want to sign your lease and take advantage of the program. Like I said, project-based Section 8 provides all the same benefits that you have as a public housing
but I don't
resident.
feel that this is I don't feel that we are taking advantage of any program. I feel that if we're not even given, if our questions of our concerns and things like that is, we cannot see the oversight of ourselves. We have to come to you. I feel if those things are just taken away from us, and then you guys come in, step in and say, oh, we can do the oversight. We don't need you to do the oversight, because they have the 99, because they have this contract to where they are not able to repair the mold and things like that. So they give the contract up to you because they messing up downtown. They should also give another option. And I don't feel it's right that we aren't given that other option.
Ms. Johnson, this is Sam. We're over time here. So what I would ask you to do is to reach out directly to NYCHA to continue this conversation with them if you'd like. We definitely wanted to give space for residents to have conversations with NYCHA here and have their questions answered and feel heard. But for continued questions about this, we really would like you to reach out to NYCHA. As we are over time on this particular call. We will have additional town hall meetings, including one next month. We have not published the date for that town hall meeting yet, but again, we will, in the next few weeks, you will get a notice as well as the printed town hall slides. So with that, I'd like to kick it over to Donald Modis to take us out. Donald, do you want to give us a little sign off if you don't mind?
Yes, thank you, Sam. Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Harlem River, I want to thank everybody for coming on. I want to say, these town halls are important to us, and to have the tenant engagement and for the tenants to understand how important this project is to us. I want to just say the development team, Settlement Housing, West Harlem Group Assistance, the contractors, LMN, CNC as the managers, nobody is a slumlord. That is misinformation. We stand 100% committed and dedicated to seeing this project from beginning to end. There's been a few obstacles, but we've heard from HUD tonight that we're gonna have a closing some part early 2022, hopefully in February, and get this project started the right way. A lot of important questions about the model apartments and the HQS and the Section 8. I think the tenants had great questions, and they're real knowledgeable tenants, and we want to show you 100% transparency, and that's why we're doing these town halls and getting the information to you. You don't have to wait for the town hall to get your information. You can contact us at info@harlemriver.org, and you can get your questions and whatever things you want answered. We can do that for you right away and not answer it through a town hall. I want to quickly address the conversation with Ms. Johnson just now, and there are a lot of HPD co-ops that's going through. Actually, West Harlem Group Assistant is attached to a couple, and we have about 120 coming out in the next few years. So you can contact our office, and there's other providers in Harlem that's doing affordable home ownership. But this is not an affordable home ownership program. So on behalf of Harlem River, I just want to say thank you and have a blessed and a happy holidays, and be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Donald. Thank you, everyone. Have a great holiday. Be well.
Thanks, Donald.